What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, Millzy, back with Hometown Commander, back for another opening. We're opening the other Brothers War Commander deck. So excited to open these up. We have Mishra's Burnished Banner. This deck sees Mishra in his almost final form here. All the new precons come with these cool little punch-out tokens and a divider in the back. That's something you're interested in. And of course, just like the Urza deck, every new precon comes with one of these little deck boxes, which is really cool. And the best part is you can fit a whole deck sleeved in there. I think it's really cool that they add this in here for you to be able to put your whole deck in sleeved. That's really great. We get a little fold-up pamphlet about Mishra and how the deck works and what it's good at, and some background about him, and then on the front side how the deck works and some commander rules. So all you need to do with this is get a set of 100 sleeves, sleeve the deck up, and you can take it to your local game shop or to play with your friends to play some Commander. Every one of the precon decks these days comes with a collector booster sampler pack. This is 2 cards from the that you can find in Brothers War collector boosters, and this is included for you for the cost of admission. Let's see if either of these are usable in our deck. I have had times where I've bought these and they haven't even been in the right colors. So let's see. We have an ad card there. We see Urza's Silex. Of course, not playable in this deck because it is a white activation cost. And then Ivory Tower. All right, let's get into the Mishra deck. Gonna get all of our tokens here in the back. So this should have every token that you need to play the deck. And we get a thick card. I think these are really interesting. So we get a copy of each. We get a normal one to sleeve up, and then this really thick one. You can't use this in a sleeve in like the 99. It is a lot thicker than your normal card, but it's here for collection purposes, and I think it's still pretty cool. Here's our commander, Mishra Eminent One. Looks pretty cool. Not my favorite of the commanders that we're going to see in this deck, but I think it is still really cool. My favorite is the next card, Ashnod the Uncaring, the secondary commander. We're gonna have we'll have at the point that this video releases, we should probably have my brews for both Urza and Mishra up on the channel, but the one for Ashnod will be coming very soon. Very, very, very excited about that card. And each deck this time around, every card comes in the old border. I think it's all really cool. We get to see some really cool reprints in the old border, as well as some new cards in the old border. So let's go through the deck. I'll just point out the cards that I'm excited about, what you should be excited about as far as reprints go, and we'll have some fun. We have Factor Fiction there in the old border. A Braid, always great to see a reprint of a Braid. Not a very expensive card, but a really good utility card. 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. One of the more pricier cards of the last year. Expressive Iteration gets a reprint in the old border. Definitely going to swap my staple binder version of it out for this one. I think this is pretty. Same art as it was in Strixhaven, just in that pretty old gold border foil. We got Oni Cult Anvil, standard all-star here in its old border printing. We get a Felwar Stone. Great to see one of these in the old border. Tap for a mana of any color that an opponent's land could produce. So depending on what colors you are, if you're in blue or or white or green, most of the time these will always get you a color that you can use. Worst case scenario, you're just going to get an extra mana for your spells. We see Hedron Archive in the old border. Ichor Wellspring gets a reprint in the old border there. Mindstone, great utility card there for artifact decks. We see our Soul Ring in the old border. Never have enough Soul Rings. We see Thran Dynamo get a reprint in the old border. Thran Dynamo, of course, great for artifact decks. And here we go. We got the old bordered lands. Still don't know how I feel about these, but I think they look pretty cool. We got Crumbling Necropolis. We get our bounce lands there in doing our Aqueduct and Is It Boilerworks. We see Myriad Landscape in the old border. That looks pretty cool. Canarium. We see Reliquary Tower in the old border there. Very interesting to see that very dark border on that, but that is kind of interesting. Mnemonic Sphere. Cast Executioner's Capsule. Get to see a Feed the Swarm reprint in the old border. That's pretty cool. Faithless Looting. Didn't know this one is in here. This symbol right here on these old border cards, if you're interested, that means that it has an ability that you can use from the graveyard. That's meant to be there so that when you're looking through your cards in your graveyard, you know what has an ability because you can flash it back for 3 mana. So cool to see that in the old border. Arcane Signet, again, never have enough of them, gets its reprint in the old border. Commander's Sphere, great to see that in the old border. Dimir Signet. Getting into our new cards, Glint Raker. Tissier's Devastation. This card looks really fun. X2 black. You lose X life and create X tapped Power Stone tokens. Then all creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn for each artifact you control. So depending on how many artifacts you have, especially non-creature ones, you can just go ahead and wipe the board. And the cool part here is that you don't have to put much into X. If you have lots of artifacts, you just pay the 4, and you're going to wipe the board -X for how many artifacts you control. So that's pretty cool. This card seems really interesting. This card has me very interested, though. Blast Furnace Hellkite. 9 mana for a 5/5 dragon, but it definitely isn't shabby. It has Artifact Offering, which says you may cast the spell as though it had flash by sacrificing an artifact and paying the difference in mana. So you can pay it for at flash speed by sacking that artifact. Flying Double Strike, and creatures attacking your opponents have Double Strike. So not just our creatures, any creatures attacking your opponent have Double Strike. You can use this as a piece to help your opponents to hurt other opponents. This is definitely an interesting card, and I'm very excited to try this on my Miram list. Farid. Machine's God Effigy seems at least interesting. Kind of a cursed mirror of sorts, but it comes in as a copy of any creature and in blue. So that's kind of interesting. Muzio, a Visionary Architect, seems kind of interesting. Tap, look at the top cards, put a artifact on the battlefield. I think this is going to get used to get a lot of really cool things like Darksteel Forge or Blightsteel, those big expensive artifacts. You just put them right on the battlefield. You just got to make sure you look at enough cards off the top. So that's pretty interesting. Geth, Lord of the Vault. Look at that art. It is pretty. Herald of Anguish. We see Joyra, Weatherlight Captain. Very popular commander in its own right. Silas Wren looking pretty there. It's cool to see some of these cards that got released in Commander Legends get these old school border prints. There we go. We got Lithoform Engine. A very powerful engine, full pun intended, on this card. One of those cards I'm excited to see in old board. Throw in the staple binder to use in my decks, but favorite abilities: copy a target triggered or activated ability, copy target instant sorcery spell, or copy target permanent spell. Can be very, very good in the right decks, pushing you forward on your value. We see Emery, a very popular commander on Brawl on Arena, gets a reprint here in the old border. Master Transmuter, Padim, Fane the Broker. We get a Blasphemous Act old border reprint, really great removal board wipe there. And we see a Chaos Warp, really great single target removal, especially in red. And then there's the aforementioned card, Cursed Mirror. Sees a lot of play in Commander, coming in as the copy of any creature except it has haste. Can be used for a lot of good. Okay, Igniter. We see Bedevil, get a reprint there in that gold border. Pretty. Bedevil, great. Hits artifact creatures or planeswalkers. Brutaclad, a very popular commander, seeing a reprint here in the old border. Idol of Oblivion. Metalwork Colossus. Strionic Resonator. There's another great one in that old border. Copy target triggered ability, which is great. This is trigger ability uses the words when, whenever, or at. This is really great to copy in the battlefield abilities, landfall triggers, a lot of different things. Trading Post. We see Traxos, Scourge of Krug, get a reprint with some new art. What a pretty card that is. And we get into our lands. See an Exotic Orchard there. Smoldering Marsh, again, another one of those Battle for Zendikar lands that I really enjoy in the old border. We get our trio of temples from Theros. Synth Wellspring, Hill Spellbomb. We see our Signet. We get an old school Wayfarer's Bauble. What a pretty card. Ash Barrens. We see our command tower there. We'll talk about that one in a second. We see the Modern Horizons 2 artifact lands that come in tapped, getting a print in the old border. This is the one I was very excited about. Great Furnace. We get the artifact lands in the old border. Path of Ancestry. Here we see Seed of the Synod and Vault of Whispers. The other two artifact lands. Another one of our Modern Horizons 2 lands. And then Terramorphic Expanse in the old border. And then our basics. Still kind of weird to see the basics in this old border, but pretty cool. We get a good selection of there. So that is it. Mishra. Eminent one. If you're interested in Grixis artifacts, pick this up, check this out. I think Ashnod's going to see a lot of decks play as well. So if you're interested in either of those commanders, pick this deck up. I think there's going to be a lot of really good value for you, especially in some of these reprints of some of these old border cards. But there it is, Mishra, Eminence One's Precon, and I will catch you guys next time.